Hello, this is Dr. John Monaco, coming to you from AllStride, as I have on many occasions now. And I just had a few thoughts, not necessarily all related, but just a few thoughts I wanted to share with you today. I had a busy week at the hospital, busy week in the pediatric intensive care unit, and one particular kid bothered me the most. He was a very depressed 17-year-old, happened to be overweight. I don't know if that was at the seat of his problems, but I couldn't help but notice that it was at least one of the issues that he was dealing with. And it just got me thinking, because this boy was so sad, and he had taken an overdose of sleeping medication, and luckily he did fine, but it was a call for help. And it got me thinking, we spend a lot of time talking about the physical aspects of childhood obesity and how we're worried about children's hearts and their lungs and their bones and their livers and their gallbladders and all these other issues. But sometimes we don't pay quite as much attention to their psyche, to their brains, if you will. This is a very emotional issue, and perhaps the fact that it is so emotional is what makes it so challenging. I know this partially from personal experience. I've talked about this with you before. I was an overweight kid. I got picked on. Yeah, it was hard. And, it made me think that what kids really want out of life is what we all want. They want to be loved, and they want to know that what they have to say matters. And what that means to me is they want to know that they belong. And I think one of the biggest things I felt as an overweight child, and I know when I see my patients in the hospital with these issues, their biggest psychological challenge, emotional challenge, is that they feel like they don't belong. They feel somehow ostracized. And I worry a little bit in our effort to solve this problem, and I welcome any efforts to try to do this because it is a complicated problem. But are we stressing perhaps too much the blame aspects? Are we making people feel like they've somehow messed up, that families have messed up, and that's why children are overweight? Certainly there are decisions that could be made better, but part of our role at AllStride, and part of my role as a physician, is not to blame people and not to make them feel guilty about this, but to offer them alternatives that they can empower themselves by choosing, thereby making this problem better. You see what I mean? I think that sometimes we can make it worse by getting too much into this blame thing. Who's at fault? Is it the government? Is it the food industry? Is it the parents? Is it does it really matter? I mean, we're all in this together. We all have to deal with this because it is about the health of our society. But let's not forget these little kids and the way they're feeling, okay? I'm reminded, one of the reasons I got into this in the first place, I'm reminded of I don't even remember now, it was so long ago, but I think he was a 7 or 8-year-old little asthmatic child. And he was markedly overweight. And I asked his mother about that. I said, does his weight bother him? Oh, no, he's just like his daddy, and he's a boy, he likes to eat, he likes to have a good time, no problem. And then she had to leave the room for a minute, and I sat down on the bed next to him. And I just kind of looked at him, and I said, does it bother you? And he just started to cry. And I knew it bothered him, because I knew what it was like to be an 8, 10, 12-year-old kid and be overweight. And yeah, it's funny for the family, and it's funny for the rest of the kids in the class, and you could be the brunt of jokes. But you feel separate. You feel like you don't belong. We have to realize that we are all connected in this problem and in life. We have to realize that it is the collective psyche of all of us that has to jump on board and work with this problem. We have to make sure that whatever we do to help kids who are overweight and society as a whole, that we not forget that all kids want to be loved and they want to know that what they have to say matters. Let's not forget that. Let's keep fighting the good fight. I welcome any comments you had. I'd love to hear from you. You can contact me through allstride.com, ALLSTRIDE. You can email me directly through there. We can talk in our posts. It's a very open exchange, and it costs you nothing to do that. We gotta have communication. We gotta keep talking. Thank you. That's all for today. I will be back on soon. We've got a lot of work to do, folks. Let's not stop here. Thank you.